Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Chillin' with Death with episode number 7, lucky number 7. As you can notice, a little difference here. We have our cameras on, and this is the route that we are going to go with. This is something that we've been wanting to do for quite a while. We finally got everything that we kind of really need for the podcast as of right now. And hopefully, with the next couple episodes, we'll make some more and more improvements with it. But hope you guys get used to this, and I hope you guys do enjoy this a lot better than just the audio. Um, I know that with the audio, it is a little weird sometimes, especially for me looking back at it on Spotify and then also on Apple Podcasts. That's on there now too. So get used to it like this. We're gonna go like this going forward. Deathface, I got Deathface here with me as well. Deathface, how are you doing, man?
What up, bro? I'm doing pretty good. I just want to shout you out real quick. You're the one that got me this webcam for me for my birthday, so
Yep.
I appreciate that, man. I
I didn't
did
want
need it.
I didn't want to gloat that out there, but yeah.
uh, but other than that, man, I've been pretty good. I'm getting adjusted to my new schedule. Um,
Yep.
I just started a new job, so it's a different schedule because I used to work mornings, and now I'm working kind of like the afternoon, evening type shifts. So
Yep.
just adjusting.
Dude,
Um,
I'm really jealous that you have afternoon shifts just because I know what it's like in the morning. It fucking sucks.
yeah.
I don't know. For me personally, like I don't ever really have time to like actually get ready for the day in the mornings because every time I wake up, I'm just like real quick, get up, go get ready, give myself like 5 minutes, and then just head out the door.
Yeah, bro. Basically, I go in at 1. Right now, I'm in training, so and it's at uh, a remote job on the computer doing, I guess, customer
Right.
service. So I go in at 1, so usually get up like around 10. Because after I get off at 10 p.m. I go in at 1, I get off at 10 p.m. and then I stay up
Mm-hmm.
till like 1 or 2, just gaming or just hanging out, chilling.
Yep.
And then so I'm able to get up around 10, do my thing. Because before, man, I would get up at like 4:30, you know, 5
Shit.
a.m.
Yeah.
and then rush to work, and it was. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's cool because you go in early, you get out, at
Yeah.
a decent time, and you have the rest of the day. But I feel like this, especially for my situation, it's this is so much more convenient for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm having a great time with them, man. It's a new experience, a new different type of job. I'm used to doing physical jobs, physical work,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice to take a little break from that. But other than that, gaming, I've been playing. I lately, recently, I played Dead Space, the 2023
Yeah. You tell
remake.
me about that.
I did post that on YouTube earlier today. So for our last episode, so go ahead
Yeah.
and check that out.
Check that out.
Yeah, I've been starting on Elder Scrolls Online recently again. Just something just to play, just
Yeah.
just to do. Uh, Played a little bit of Chrono Odyssey, the playtest. I did sign up for it, and I did get the notification. I think Friday.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Tell me about that because I know you told me a little bit about it and some things that you came across.
yeah, so it's very buggy. I mean, I mean, what more can I? I mean,
Is this an issue? Like, do you think it's an issue on your end, or is it something that you've seen
well,
people saying?
yeah, I was looking at videos, trying to see, if people were having the same issues as I was, and sure enough, yeah, very buggy. Um, of course, it's a play test, so it's not perfect. And I mean, it was cool. The concept is cool. The
Hmm.
combat looks cool. The enemies, they're pretty cool. I only got maybe an hour in. I didn't really do much because I think I had other things to do. But yeah, just judging from the other videos I've seen, people were kind of disappointed. Um, and people are kind of like, they really need to polish it, to work on it a lot more
Yeah.
and that's good criticism. You obviously they want that criticism, that way they can,
Yeah.
you know, um, work on it some more and improve it. Uh, but I think it ends tonight or tomorrow. I'm not too sure.
Oh,
So
okay.
you know, and I think you did have to sign up. I did it on Steam. I just sent the request to do the play test. So, but it's cool. I like the whole style, the dark, art that the art style, the real dark, fantasy type of experience. It's really cool. Hopefully, once it does finally release, hopefully it'll be what everybody wants.
Yeah, like I said, I think when they showed it off at what was it, Summer Game Fest, right?
Yeah.
Um, I thought it was just like a hack and slash game. I didn't know if they had already talked about it prior to Summer Game Fest, but because I mean, you immediately told me that it's supposed to be an MMO. Um,
Yeah.
so did they have that aspect in the beta demo, whatever you want to call it, like it being an MMO? Uh, was there more to it? Like, was it an RPG whatsoever? As far as like, obviously, of course, probably the gear, right?
Yeah, so I saw some guys saying that it was a Souls like MMORPG type. That's kind of like the genre he gave it,
Okay,
and it was interesting because yeah, that the combat is like a Souls like. I mean, it's an MMO. I mean, you got you know everybody on there at once, fighting, doing activities and stuff like that,
right.
and then it just has the full on RPG elements. Just doing quests, running around, getting gear. I think it was kind of cool because I had got these two blades, um, and I killed like a few enemies, and it was leveling up on its own, and I thought that was pretty cool. I guess just you gain XP towards your weapons, and that was pretty cool to see because most of the time you have to, I don't know, find some sort of currency to try to level it up and make it better.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, it's very different. Um, I just hope that they can, improve it, especially the stability of it. It was very buggy, and I was trying to record some gameplay to post on YouTube, but it just looked way too buggy. I didn't, I'm like, I don't want people to stay here and have to watch this. So.
That sucks. That sucks. Yeah, I know you also mentioned yesterday you were playing the Hell Is Us demo as well.
Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. I completely
Mm,
forgot about that.
yeah.
Yeah, I played the demo. Um, I liked it, honestly. I was telling you, it gave me uh, Death Stranding vibes because of the art style.
Hmm.
Um, and but at the same time, it has combat like I don't know. It kind of felt more like Stellar Blade in a sense, where it wasn't like perfected. Like at the well, it's kind of weird because I have this feeling that it feels like Stellar Blade and then Bloodborne at the same time.
Okay.
And then I was telling you that the combat reminded me a lot of Valhalla with
Yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah. I
the
remember you mentioning
with
that.
like
Yeah.
the choppiness of like the exaggeration of the hits. It just
Hmm.
looked really cool. Um, and it's I was telling you, and I don't think you liked this, but it doesn't tell you what to do, where to go.
Yeah, yeah. You tell me.
You just have clues on I guess your little iPad or whatever you pull up, and you just have to like when you go talk to people, they kind of give you info on just the world, or and it'll give you more info on what you might need to do with those certain things to get to the next point. Um, and sure enough, there's like three puzzles that I came across that I just couldn't do anything with. So there's a lot of puzzles in these games. There's a lot of like doors that you can open. Um, and then you have a vehicle, which is cool. I guess it's just like that's the fast travel mechanism where I guess you
Hmm.
you just go to certain areas, and it's just like a big area you can explore, and then you get back in the vehicle and you go to the next one. So I like the whole concept of it. I enjoyed my time with it. The combat is pretty interesting. It seems like it could be very difficult. I ran into like a horde of enemies, and it was just kind of a little overwhelming, but I was able to pull through, and then I did face off some pretty difficult enemies, two of them at once. It's very interesting the way they like the mechanics on how to fight the enemies are certain enemies. It's just crazy. I've never seen anything like it in a game. So I mean, if you're interested, I highly recommend you trying it out. I mean,
How long was the demo again?
I would say, what was it? Like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours if you're like me and you just try to explore everything and try to open the doors that you can't open. I was going back and forth trying to find stuff, but yeah, I would say like an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how slow, fast you take it.
Oh, okay. Cool. That's cool, man. So I mean, no issues, right? Like performance issues or anything like that.
No, that game, no.
Cool, cool. So for me, I think if anything, I honestly had a pretty busy week, I guess you could say. Um, I did do some Switch gaming. Uh, I mostly played the Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I actually finally got to it. I meant to text you about this. I actually finally got to a sky level part of it. After finding one of those towers that gives you a little bit more of the layout of the map, and it just shoots you up. I was able to get to an area that wasn't so high up, that whenever it launched me up, it was kind of like right there. So I just flew to it, and I'm still kind of exploring that little area. I will say that I've not that I forgot, but more of I guess I didn't really know how how detailed it is. There's a lot of things that that happen that I don't expect to happen, just because of the style of the game. It's like I guess you could say it's like a realistic game. So like for example, realistic in the sense of like if you have a torch on fire and you're walking around grass, the grass lights up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So things like that. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil it so much. But I forgot, I guess you could say, how realistic it is in that sense. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. I will say, I think one night I did play, trying to explore that area, which wasn't really that big of an area, and it honestly took up my whole night just because I there were a lot of little things here and there that I didn't want to miss. So did that. But yeah, been playing Tears of the Kingdom, and then I have also been playing the GameCube part of it, the Nintendo Switch Online portion of it. I played the Soul Calibur 2 because I did grow up on Soul Calibur, and especially that one. And they have like a little, I guess you could say, story mode for it where you can just choose a character and like kind of go through their narrative point of it. And it's not really anything special other than just fighting enemies to be able to get more different weapons and I guess costumes, and then unlock the rest of the characters, which is why I was doing it, just so that I can unlock the rest of the characters on there. So yeah, mostly just switched to gaming up until yesterday when me and you and our buddy John, we played some Splitgate. I've been playing some Fortnite as well. Which speaking of Fortnite, they finally, I know you don't really care, but they finally came out with, or not came out, but they came back with the Street Fighter uh, skins, which is really fucking cool because I've been missing those for like the longest time. I think even Fortnite said it that after like 3 years of being gone, we're finally bringing it back, which is really cool because I really wanted them. So I did end up getting Ryu, Chun Li, and gosh, who else? Cammy and Guile. I think that's his name. So I still am missing one set, but I'll probably end up getting it at some other point. But those are the main ones that I wanted. So yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Fortnite here and there, and then it wasn't until yeah, well, yesterday, like I said, when we were playing Splitgate. Splitgate's been a lot of fun. I know you can attest to that because we mostly just play the battle royale portion of it. Which, if you haven't played it, I highly suggest it. It is kind of a little bit of a break from anything else that's out there. I'm not saying it's the best, but it is a good time, especially if if you're one of those that goes to work all day, comes back home, you just want to play a video game. That's kind of one to play, especially with from the luck that we've been having. Our first game is always like a bot lobby, so at least that's what it seems like. So each time that we first get on, we usually end up with the dub. So that's been a lot of fun. And then me and you and our buddy John did try out the Gears of War beta, which was something that not that I was looking forward to, but was curious to test out because I hadn't played Gears in a very long time. And after playing it, I really am looking forward to the Gears Reloaded version of it. It does look really good from what I remember the original looking like, and even the Ultimate Edition, which, funny enough, I did get the Reloaded Edition for free because I apparently purchased the Ultimate Edition. So cool. Thanks, Xbox. And really looking forward to it. But the beta, man, the first couple of games, we were. I can't even say that we were getting shit on. We were just getting murdered.
dude.
Um, it was
I was
really bad.
embarrassed.
Yeah, I we were just getting pissed like the first 2 3 games just because we couldn't get used to the gameplay of it. I don't know what else to say about it other than if you know Gears, I guess you guys know how to play it, but I hadn't played it in many ages. Same thing with Deathface. Give me your experience on it.
Yeah, mm, I guess because I did play one match. I think we talked about in the last podcast. I
Hmm.
did start up one match, and I was just like, yeah, nah, this I'm not playing this because it's so limited what you can do.
Right.
Um, and yeah, the first two games I was having a hard time and just I don't know. It's just so weird how the hitbox is and
Yes.
how
Yeah.
sometimes you get the one shot hit on the shotgun. Um, I know it's a beta, but then we started doing good. We started doing
Yeah.
decent. Uh,
Yeah.
we started because the first two games, I think the first games none of us had a kill. I think John had one kill, and then the second game we
Same
maybe
thing,
had
probably.
yeah, and then the third game that's when we started. I think we ended off with like I ended up with like 5 or 6 kills. You ended up with around the same 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's something that you definitely have to get used to, especially since I mean, I haven't played Gears. The last Gears I really played was Gears of War 3, and I did play the online back then when it was out, and I had a good time on it. But it's just a game that you really have to get used to again because the mechanics are just completely different than another. It kind of reminds me of the Last of Us Factions.
Hmm.
That's another game that you really had to get used to because it's a third person. Your main priority is cover. That's like the main mechanic that you need to really focus on is going into cover, staying in cover, crouching. Well, this game you can't crouch, but when you run, um, you do like a crouching thing, and it's just kind of just I don't know. It's funny because then you see people going in and out of the cover and dodging and doing crazy stuff, and just one
Yep.
shot
Yep.
and I was able to pick up the sniper a few
Hmm.
games and get some headshots, so that was satisfying. But I mean, it's cool. It's just something you got to get used to if you haven't
Yeah.
played Gears.
So at the end of the day, yeah, it's I personally did have fun with it. I wasn't really having a good time at the beginning, but it really is one of those instances where you got to get used to it. You got to keep on going to get better with it. And I mean, if you can if me and Deathface can pick up on it pretty quick, which we're not the best online players whatsoever. If we were able to pick up on it, I think anybody can be able to pick up on it. So all in all, at towards the end, it was a lot of fun for me personally. So I really am actually looking forward to the Gears of War Reloaded full game that comes out in August, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
August.
cool. So August, looking forward to that. So next section that we're going to get into is some gaming news here and there that happened throughout the week. I know that there probably was some that happened that we're probably not going to touch up on, but these are the ones that we kind of really did follow for the most part. Maybe next episode we'll go over some other ones. I mean, who knows? There's probably something going on right now that we just obviously didn't see or something like that. So we'll go from the gaming news, and then we're going to go over some memories that me and Deathface have. So first one that I saw that was actually like if anything probably like the biggest one out of it was Marathon, the game from Bungie. It did get delayed. This game already, like I mentioned a couple episodes ago, it just had a bunch of controversy going on with it. One with it kind of just being a generic extraction shooter, just like any other. And then on top of that, too, the big thing being that they apparently stole art from somebody, and they somebody in the art team knew about it, and they had since let him go. Whatever the case is, it got delayed with no release date. So the reason why I got delayed is so that they can focus on upping the survival game, just making the AI a little bit more challenging, having the AI encounters a little bit more challenging, and then rewarding with more runs that you do with new types of loot, dynamic events, making combat more tense and strategic. They're also going to double down on the marathon universe itself, so I guess more lore to it, because it is a reboot or rebranding of the original game of Marathon that it already was. But in their words, they're saying increased visual fidelity, more narrative and environmental storytelling to discover and interact with with a darker tone that delivers on the themes of the original trilogy. And then they're going to be adding more social experiences, a better player experience for solos and duos, because I think you have to be trios, right? in that game.
I think so from what I
Uh,
saw, yeah.
and then proximity chat, so social stories can come to life in their words. Again, no release date on it since it got delayed, but we will hear more from them on the fall on the progress that they've made with the whole reason why they're delaying it.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of crazy. I think when I saw that they delayed it, I sent you something that was on Facebook, sent you a link, and
Hmm.
I went on the comments, man, and I think I told you, I was like, dude, I feel like it's gonna. Well, I'm not gonna say anything, but the comments were just bashing Marathon,
Yep.
bro, and I was like, whoa, like because I guess a lot of it had to do with that whole art, um,
Yeah.
the whole.
I mean, how can you trust somebody after that kind of thing? Like, how do you come back from that?
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy because I mean, because to me the art was kind of the colors are cool, but it just looked very generic. Um,
Yeah, it did.
the art, I mean, whoever made the art, I mean, that's cool, you know. But for Bungie just to take it like that, that's very that's weird. Um,
Yeah.
it's just a weird move that they did, and then until somebody called them out, and then now they delayed it,
Hmm.
and it's just this whole thing. And they don't even have a window on when
Yeah.
what time they're gonna delay it till. They don't even have that.
I just
So
think that it sucks on Sony's part just because, you know, they bought Bungie. As of right now, I personally don't think Sony has a good record when it comes to partnering with certain developers. For example, we have I don't even remember what their name was, but the people that made Concord, you know.
oh yeah,
Look where Concord is now, and then now we have this thing with Bungie. So I don't know, man. It's just weird to me too that this is the same Bungie or sorry, the same Bungie name of the ones that made the whole Halo franchise or the original trilogy and Reach and ODST, and then they're still continuing with Destiny 2, which I mean, I think Destiny 2 community already has a bunch of problems with Destiny 2 itself, and then they have a DLC coming out with Destiny 2 as well. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know how you come back from something like that. So that's Marathon for you. Next is we have Black Ops 7, which I guess it was confirmed that they will not have wall running or jetpacks. This was something that I saw, especially from on Twitter from Charlie Intel. They mentioned, yeah, no wall running or jetpacks, which is, I guess, a good thing. Cool. Um, I don't really care for that either way, personally. Don't get me wrong. I think not that it would ruin the game, but I think it would just make it a lot harder than what Call of Duty already kind of is, especially with the gunplay. With the most recent ones, it's a little unfair, I think. So adding in the wall running and the jetpacks would be another issue on top of that. Um, and then on top of that, I mean, it kind of makes sense that it's not on there just because it is, I believe, a couple of years or maybe even 10 years after Black Ops 2, which Black Ops 2 already didn't even have the jetpacks. But it's also strange because you and I both saw the leaks of, or I think like somebody finding in the files of using wall running and jetpacks, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's Black Ops 7 for you. Apparently, no wall running or jetpacks.
But they did say that they were gonna keep Omni movement, right? But like
Yes,
expand
they
on it.
expand on it, improve it, whatever the case is.
Yeah. I'm glad there's no wall running, man, because I mean that just wouldn't make sense. And I mean, coming from what it already is, the
Hmm.
craziness, the movement, um, when you watch streamers or whatever, the clips on Instagram and stuff like that, it's just crazy how much they dedicate their time to be able to move like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yep.
that's cool. We play Warzone and all that, but
Hmm.
sometimes we do run into those people, and it's just insane. And
Yeah.
wall running and jetpacks would just wall running would just ruin it even
Yeah.
more. So
Yep. And then, I mean, on top of that, too, I guess it makes sense that it's not on there. I mean, they just introduced the Omni movement thing. So, yeah, I mean, I can just see them expanding upon that.
yeah,
Next up, we have the Nintendo Direct for Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I personally watched. So, I'll kind of give my thoughts more on that. Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out next month in July, which I'm just going to say right now, I think that should have been the that should have been the what is it? The launch game for the Switch 2. After seeing this direct, if you guys have seen it, it looks like just a bunch of good fun. They give Donkey Kong, of course, his own game. On top of that, we got that little, not little, pretty big, but we got that surprise reveal of having Pauline as his companion, which Pauline doesn't really get much, or didn't back then at least, get much of a spotlight up until I believe Mario Odyssey, where she ended up coming back in that game. Which, and if you guys don't know who Pauline is, I'll be honest, I don't really know who she is too much either, other than I guess in the Donkey Kong universe for the older games. But anyways, she remade her introduction in Super Mario Odyssey, and then ever since then she's been in Mario Kart World, I believe. But yeah, she's going to be Donkey Kong's sidekick, and she's going to be pretty crucial to the gameplay itself. Of course, that being like her singing. She gives hints. She gives hints as to like where to go or where to like find these bananas. Could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But on top of that, he also did get other abilities where he can basically turn into like a Super Saiyan gorilla. He can turn into a fucking ostrich of all things, and then he can turn into like a zebra, I believe. Each of them have their own thing. I believe the Super Saiyan one, he just is a lot more stronger. Ostrich gives him the ability to fly, and the zebra gives him a little bit more speed. The leveling up of your abilities look really cool. It makes you stronger. It gives you like a sonar to kind of see where certain bananas are. Which, if you haven't picked up on it either, like I've been mentioning in the last couple of episodes, this does look like basically Mario Odyssey but Donkey Kong, in the sense of you, instead of finding stars or moons, I guess you could say, in Mario Odyssey, in Donkey Kong Bonanza, you find bananas. So again, this just looks like a really cool game. I can't wait for it. I wish that this was the launch game for it, but I guess this will have to do. Deathface, I know you didn't watch it. Do you have anything on, maybe anything you've seen on it?
No, I didn't watch it. I think that's slacking on my part. You
Oh,
know,
okay, okay.
we're doing gaming news, and I didn't even watch
Yeah.
that direct. But I don't have a Switch. I didn't buy the Switch 2. I have a Switch 1, but all I played on there was the Zelda games. I never got
Gotcha.
any of the other games, and I know I'm missing out. There's a lot of games that you really loved from the Switch that I just never got around to picking up.
Yeah. I'm just really excited for Donkey Kong because this is, I believe, probably the first game that he's had in the last like 20 years, other than just getting the games that he's been in or older games of his that have just been remastered. So yeah, really looking forward to Donkey Kong Bonanza. Next, we have the Return to Silent Hill movie. We finally got a release date for it, January 23rd, 2026. I'm really excited for this. I'm sure you are too, Deathface, considering the fact that it does kind of go off of the Silent Hill 2 game itself, which we just got off of the hype train of that. So really looking forward to see how they do it in the film version of it.
Yeah, man. I know that I saw the other Silent Hill movies, back when they came out,
Yeah, those were really
and
good, especially the first one.
yeah, I enjoyed them. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have a lot of things to say about them, but I mean, come on, Silent Hill, bro. Like,
Yeah, and especially for the time too. The first one came out in like 2006. I don't remember the second one too much. I remember watching it, but I remember not liking it. So, but I like the first one.
yeah, I think I enjoyed all of them, but finally we're gonna get another one, and I just hope that, because we did see a little screenshot. You
Yeah,
sent me a screenshot earlier today.
yeah. We'll
Uh,
we'll, we'll get into that, I guess. Yeah, because we did get our first look at it too, which shows James and Maria, right? Or
yes.
okay. Um, and Deathface said it best because I sent it to him as soon as I saw it, and it just looks like cheap cosplay, unfortunately. Especially with Maria, the it's. I mean, obviously, in movies, yes, you cosplay in a sense, but you can just tell. In movies, they at least try to hide the fact that, like, for example, in the movie, who knows? Maybe she's actually not a blonde, but in the video game, she is a blonde, and you can just tell it's a blonde wig. In actual, high budget movies, like millions, trillions of dollars, whatever, they do everything they can to like make you believe that somebody's a blonde. So
Yeah. I think I told you, I was like, I hope that's not real, but you did tell me that that's official. So,
yeah,
uh, I'm so excited for it. Maybe that's just, I don't know, an unedited picture, or just a
yeah,
quick
maybe.
picture that they took, just, I don't know, just to leak it or whatever. But either way, if it's following Silent Hill 2, then dude,
Hmm.
I'm all for it.
And Yeah, like you mentioned, who knows? Maybe it is just a unedited picture, I guess, or something. And I don't know. I hope that the rest of the movie lives up to it as far as the monsters that are in there. Who knows? Maybe that's where all the budget went. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Every time all the movies that I've seen, all the Silent Hill movies, man, I always just wait for Pyramid Head. That's
Yeah.
that's my favorite villain of all time. I think in any video games, and just seeing him with just hearing that his sword,
Hmm.
uh, you know,
Scraping on the floor.
scraping
You
against
know
the
it's
floor.
him.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
So, yep, we can look forward to that January 23rd of 2026. Next up, we have Stellar Blade, which I took this as it's possibly coming to the Switch 2 because the developers shift up. They have gotten Switch 2 dev kits, and I don't think, I mean, of course, unless they're working on something else. But a lot of speculation is that Stellar Blade might be coming to the Switch 2, which I would enjoy that a lot because I have yet to play Stellar Blade. I said that when they first showed it off that I was going to get that day one, and here I am still without it. Deathface, give me your thoughts on this, just because you've played it. How do you think this would work on the Switch too, if that's the case?
Um, it plays very well for me. I mean, I play on PC. Never got a chance to try it out on PS5, but I mean, it feels awesome on PC. And
Hmm.
judging from what they did with Cyberpunk for Switch 2, I don't see no issues, running
Yeah,
it on there. I think it's gonna be a fun game to play, handheld, because just exploring the world and trying to beat those bosses on the little Joy Cons. You know, I'm curious to see how that's gonna go.
yeah, I'm excited for it if this does actually happen because, yeah, like I said, I've been wanting to play it. Who doesn't enjoy a good hack and slash? But we'll see what happens. Like I said, who knows? Maybe they got dev kits for something else that they're making. I'm not too sure. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. Next up, we have the Xbox and AMD partnership, which we already got a little bit of a hint of that, I think, right? With that Xbox Direct thing that they had last Sunday. They have the handheld. Is this kind of still continuing with that, or is it something else entirely different for like their consoles? Or because I that's all I really saw, just the fact that Xbox and AMD have a partnership now.
Yeah, I think probably. I did hear rumors that they weren't really focused on. Well, it's kind of weird to say that now because they do have a partnership with them, but they weren't really focused on making the next uh, console anymore. They're
Hmm.
just focused on getting all their games on everywhere. So I'm not completely sure because I did not read up into that as much as I would have liked. Um, it's just interesting. I feel like it's just probably uh, kind of just solidifying the fact that the next Xbox console is going to be handheld and it won't be, you
Yeah,
know.
I I know we said it last episode, but I am very curious on that handheld for it. Um, Not just the fact that it's a handheld, but you can also go off of your Steam library, your BattleNet library, your GOG library, and then of course on top of that your Xbox library. And then I believe they also mentioned that every game coming out the same day as the handheld will start being on the handheld. Correct?
I think so.
Um, and then kind of still kind of on the subject of Xbox, I'm not too sure if you saw this, but they are apparently coming up with something for a classics category on Xbox Game Pass. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw
Okay,
that.
okay, so we have that too, which I didn't really plan to talk about it, but since we're on the subject of Xbox, what they mean by that is all the Xbox class or all the Xbox games and all the Xbox 360 games being on like I don't know if they've mentioned, I don't know if they said Game Pass, but like a separate thing to be able to go through that library and play those on current hardware. So if that is the case, that does happen, that'd be really cool. I think there are a lot of hidden gems on the original Xbox and, of course, also on the 360. Um, a lot of them were pretty optimized to the 360 itself. So I can only imagine how it's going to run on not only PC Game Pass or PC in general, but also on the Series X and Series S, because Series X is really powerful. Same thing with the Series S. It's pretty powerful compared to what it is. What are your thoughts on if this were the case?
Yeah, dude, I think that'd be really cool.
I think it's just kind of something like no, you're good. I think that it's just going to be something really cool for other people to get into. Like if there were other franchises that they didn't get into, they can easily go through it from there. Um,
My bad, I
um,
lost my train of thought.
no, you're good. You're good. I think it's just like I said, I think it's just a really cool thing for people to get into if they were not able to play those. I mean, of course, I do commend Xbox and, or I guess just third parties in general, with coming out with like collections and remasters of certain games or franchises, that kind of thing. So it'd be really cool to
Yeah,
see what happens.
yeah, because now that I have my train of thought, recently there was I can't remember the game, but there is a game that I kind of when I was looking through Reddit, kind of on the same on Expedition 33 Reddit,
Hmm.
they're kind of like talking about some another game that was on the Xbox 360 that it reminded them of that game. I,
Lost Odyssey.
yes, there you go. And I was trying to see. I was like, damn, I want to go try that out. See how
Right.
that was. And sure enough, no, it's only on the Xbox 360. They haven't.
Oh wow. So
They
it's not you can't even play it on the current ones.
no.
Oh
So
okay.
something like that. Something for me that'd be cool to get to play because I mean you can't unless you have Xbox 360 and the game. So
That's crazy. Yeah, I honestly forget that like not every original Xbox or Xbox 360 game is backwards compatible. So yeah, I mean
mm,
that's cool in that sense. Yeah, for sure. All right, that's pretty much it for the gaming news here. Now, our main thing that we really wanted to get into, um, just just for fun, we wanted to kind of go over our I wouldn't say top three, but one our three best gaming memories. That being anything that has to do with gaming or something that we experienced in gaming. Uh, just really any gaming related in general. Um, Deathface, how do you want to do this? You want me to go first? You want to go first?
uh, you can go. Do your
Okay,
thing.
cool, cool. All right, so these are going to be in no specific order or anything like that. But I will bring up that these are, I guess we could say, fairly recent or in recent time. Just because they do mean a lot to me. So I'll go with number one here. One of my favorite memories of video games is kind of actually sitting down and playing Mario for the first time. And what I mean by that is I I knew and played Mario back in the day. That being like on my Game Boy, back in like 2001, 2002. So playing it on there. But to me, that was kind of more of like that's kind of really all my parents knew and bought for me. So I kind of just I guess stuck it out and played it. And it wasn't up until the Wii because, like I've mentioned before, my household, at least my dad, my household was nothing but PlayStation. There was no Nintendo to be seen in our house. If anything, we had their competitors, Sega at the time. We had the gosh, the Sega Genesis and the Dreamcast, especially. So I grew up more on Sega than I did Nintendo. I knew of Nintendo. I knew, of course, the flagship Mario, but it wasn't until the Wii that my dad, for some reason, really was interested in the Wii. He got it the I don't know, maybe that same month that it came out, and it wasn't until maybe a year later that we had the new Super Mario Brothers game on there. That's the one with the red case. For those of you that didn't know, um, we got that on there, and I didn't really care for it much. And it wasn't until, if anything, I think I was probably like grounded or something, and so I was kind of just home all day. And yeah, actually, that's what it was. My dad took away the 360 at the time because our PS3 had broken. This was like in 2000, gosh, 2008, 2009 maybe. So we had the Wii there, and he probably knew that I wasn't going to touch the Wii. So why was he wrong? Because I did end up firing up the new Super Mario Brothers game on there, and I just remember finding myself sitting on the couch from about 5 p.m., 6 p.m., all the way up until about 1 a.m., just playing that game, having so much fun with it. And then on top of that, too, the next couple of days or weeks and months, that's all I found myself playing. And then after The After that we had the Wii Shop as well, which also had the classic Mario games. So then I ended up getting some of those, and then later on, the next couple of years, we I was still on the Mario hype train and everything. It got out to a point where my dad was able to find a Mario collection of on the Wii of the first three, and I think I don't remember what it was called, but it was like the Lost Levels or something like that of Super Mario. So ended up playing that, and I just remember playing that for the next couple of months, and it was just a really good time because that's the first time I actually sat through and played a Mario game. Really enjoyed it, understood what was going on, all the power ups, what they do, that kind of thing. So that was one of my first ones that I really did enjoy. I'm very grateful for it because it really introduced me to Mario and appreciate Mario, and here we are, and still a huge fan of Mario. The next one is my son going through his Sonic phase, which was actually fairly recent, maybe a year ago. Um, he I don't know what it was, but he just got into Sonic all of a sudden. He was playing all the Sonic games, um, at least mostly like the mainline ones and the classic ones, Sonic 1, 2, 3. And then it wasn't up until where he came across Sonic Generations, which is both uh, modern Sonic and classic Sonic. I won't go too much into detail with that one, other than it's just like a compilation of like uh, uh, his classic levels, but also a story to go along with it. And he just was really in love with it. He would always ask me to play with him, and not that I didn't want to, but it was just kind of more of like, well, this is more of your thing. I'm not really into Sonic anymore, but I did grow up with Sonic. I grew up with it on the Genesis and of course the Dreamcast, mostly with Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. But yeah, after playing it, I found myself hogging the controller all the time, just because I would I would get mad when he would try to do something, and I'm like, here, give me it. It's like this, and I would just end up hogging the controller, and it just I don't know. It's just a really good memory for me. I know it's really recent, but it's a really good memory because it just shows me that I guess one, I raised him right to end up liking Sonic and video games in general, and two is just showed me that he's a really smart kid. He knows what to do in video games because he was showing me a lot of things that I didn't even know about. So it was a proud dad moment for me there for sure.
Oh yeah.
And the last one that I have here, which this one means a lot to me, is going through God of War 2018 on the PS4. I made a little note here that I really can't believe how long I waited, which doesn't it's not really long. It's probably like a year or two uh, that I finally played it after it came out. Um, so the reason why it's one of my best memories is because when I finally did go and complete it, one, the story was amazing. Death Face, I know you know the story for it. It really really awesome. Um, just so damn good and emotional. Um, and then two, while playing as Kratos, you have your son Atreus with you, and Kratos is adapting to, I guess, being a father and trying to be the best father that he can be. Throughout his whole journey, trying to teach his son right from wrong. His son is kind of, I guess you could say, um, a spoiled little brat, or just a little brat in general. Um, this was at the time where me and my girlfriend had gone together. We had our son who was young, real young, and it was a new concept to me being a dad. And while that was going on, here I am playing God of War 2018, going through the same thing, kind of in a sense, not obviously not over exaggerated like in God of War, but the same emotion on there where Kratos just isn't sure of what to do, how to handle things, how to do it, or even know if he can do it. And I didn't get that deep of a level to me where I didn't know if I could do it or anything like that. But it was just crazy that a video game can adapt those kind of emotions, those feelings, um, and just this is like the first game that I actually really related to. I know everybody has their own Death Face. I know you have your Last of Us, that kind of thing. But this was my first true game where I I felt like it was telling me a story for me specifically. So after completing it, of course, without really spoiling anything, everything kind of just goes how it should. Just let's play things out and that kind of thing. So that's for sure one of like my favorite gaming things and or memories, is just kind of reliving that and playing it through a video game form of how I felt of becoming a first time dad and that kind of thing.
Yeah, man, those are some good memories because two of them have to do with your son, and
Yeah, yeah.
obviously that's huge, the main one of the main part of your life. So
Yeah, and
that's
it's
that's rough, but
like I said, it's just it's crazy what how much how relatable video games are, and that's why I am so glad to play them and be a part of the community.
yeah, man, I kind of go through the same thing with my brother. Brother's 13 years old, and it's kind of cool to just see him,
Hmm.
gaming and we can just sit here and talk about video games and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
that's cool, man. So I'm gonna get into my three gaming memories. They're more from back in the day
Hmm.
when I was a youngin. But so the first one was on PS2 buying a steering wheel for
Oh
racing
wow.
games.
Okay.
And the reason why it's one of my favorite memories is because growing up, Toys R Us was like the designer,
Yeah.
store for toys. It was
Yep.
like we would never go there. It was super expensive. I would beg
Yeah.
my parents to go there, and they would be like, "No, it's too expensive. We'll just get you some cheap toys somewhere else."
Mhm.
So I was like, "Okay, whatever." But I don't know if it was Christmas or birthday. Went to my grandparents' house on my dad's side, and my grandpa, he would always give me like money, and but this time he gave me a Toys R Us gift card, and man, I was crazy excited. I was going nuts, like just like finally being able to go to Toys R Us because going to Toys
Yeah.
R Us was like a amusement park. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Exactly.
back in the day. Um, and so we went, right, and I think it was like I don't know if it was $100 on the gift card or like $70. It
And
was, pr-
and back then standards, that's a lot of money.
yeah, yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was around $100. And I think I was there, right, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to buy, and I think they had like a gaming section I don't know if it was at the front or the back, but they had like this booth, and it was just like a gaming little section, and sure enough, I bought the steering wheel with the pedals, and I don't even remember what racing game I bought or if I bought a racing game with it, but I think it was like $80. And I kind of looked them up earlier, when I was writing this down, and dude,
Yeah.
now they're crazy expensive. I've seen some for like $200, and I mean I don't know if there's any
Yeesh.
cheaper ones, but it's just crazy, man. Because I played the hell out of that thing, man, with whatever racing game that my dad had on PS2 at the time, because it wasn't my PS2 yet, so
Right.
he would just let me play it. That's one of my favorite gaming memories, man. I always wanted to get. I think it's cool to see like the whole setups, the steering wheel
Yeah.
setups.
Yep.
um, you know, I would love to go crazy and invest a whole bunch of money in that, but obviously I can't do that right now. But and plus I haven't been into racing games in a long time, so I don't know. Maybe I'll try a racing game out pretty soon. But another gaming memory for me, this was probably some of my favorite memories was gaming on the PSP.
Hmm.
Uh, Yeah, I can just name a few games that come to mind. It was Ridge Racer on the PSP, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition, Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix, uh, Dead to Rights Reckoning, and then this one's funny because I don't know. Do you remember the Scarface game on PS2? It was like the open world
Yeah.
GTA game.
Yeah. The world is yours. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that they were coming out with the Scarface game for PSP, but of course back then we didn't have YouTube, or we didn't have a computer to look
Hmm.
at videos to see what the game was about or whatever. I just seen Scarface. It's called Money, Power, Respect. So I think I was at my parents' work, and my dad had to go to go get produce at Target or HEB or wherever. Um, and then we stopped somewhere, and I was asking him if he could buy me this new Scarface game. My dad was cool, he would buy me whatever game, rated M or whatever.
Right.
I was like, what, 10 years old or something. But so he's like, all right. So he took me to go buy. I think we went to Walmart, and I asked for the game, whatever, and I put it in my PSP, right? Just come just to come to find out, it was a strategy turn-based game.
Oh wow.
It was like you had your
That's weird.
yeah. It was. I was expecting it to be like the PS2.
Right.
the PS2 version. But no, it was just like a strategy turn-based game where you just have like you have your group, and then you plan out, heists, or to go, kill the the other enemy group, the other enemy gang or whatever. And and as soon as I saw that, I was like, dude, I showed my dad. I was like, Dad, what is this? He was messing with it, and he was like, I don't know, this is what you wanted. I was like, no, what the hell is this? What kind of game is this? And
That
so sure
fucking
enough,
sucks.
yeah, sure enough, right away we just went to go return it because it was not
Oh,
at all what
okay.
I wanted. Um, but a lot of my favorite memories, like I said, I named a few games. Midnight Club 3 Double Edition, bro, was my game. I could play that all day. Uh, Tony Hawk's Underground 2, and I forgot it was Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix,
Yeah.
because I looked it up, it added like four more levels, from compared to the PS2 version. I think he had Santa Cruz, and then I don't know, some other levels. I remember playing that a lot on the PSP. And actually, I think when not I wouldn't say outgrew the PSP, but when I like stopped playing the PSP, I gifted it to somebody, and kind of just it was just a good experience, man, having that PSP, especially my going having to go to my parents' work all the time.
You're
Um,
right.
I had something to play while I was just sitting there for hours. But excuse me.
That's that's crazy that you mentioned Ridge Racer, bro. Because dude, I love Ridge Racer, especially in the on the PSP. That shit was so fun, man. Ridge Racer. And then I remember playing it on the PS1 as well. Yeah, Ridge Racer is just a really good franchise that I wished would come back.
Yeah, I think that was the
That was like the
first
last.
game that I bought.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, for the PSP.
gotcha.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it was a standalone game for PSP. It was just Ridge Racer.
yeah, it was just Ridge Racer, and then they came out with it on PS3, and then they just stopped. Did you play? Did you ever play Twisted Metal head on there?
I can't remember. See, that's one thing. I can't remember if I played it on the PSP, because I know I played Twisted Metal on the PS2,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if I had it on the PSP. I can't remember.
Okay, okay.
But
That's cool, man. Yeah, PSP very underrated, man. Then they went on to the PS Vita, which I never experienced. So,
me neither. And I wanted to, but I don't know. I just didn't buy it, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. But I know there's some people, I've seen that really praise it for especially for the certain games that came out on it. But that's cool. Um, so my last one is kind of it's another experience from when I was little. It's kind of like go because at my house, kind of like same with you, we just had PlayStation.
hmm
I had a 64 before my dad had any PlayStation,
yeah,
and then I had a Game Boy Color. But then I stopped playing those, and then it was my dad had the PS2, PS1, PS2. Um, and I never had an original Xbox. I never had a GameCube, and then none of those two systems. But I always loved when I used to go to my grandparents' house, because my uncles, they were a little older than me, um, but they had original Xbox, and then they had a GameCube. So I was able to go over there and get to experience original Xbox, and
yeah,
get to experience the games on GameCube. I don't remember what games I really played there. I remember playing. I know it was on PS2, but the first Spider-Man, the 2002 movie one.
yeah.
I remember playing on the Xbox, the original Xbox. I know it was on PS2, but it was just cool to play on a different system. But another person another place I would go was my best friend's house at the time. He lived right across the street from me when I was in elementary, and he had the original Xbox, and that's when I was able to experience Halo.
hmm
Um, Halo, whatever Halo was out at the time, because I had PS2, so I couldn't play
Right.
Halo. And I'll go over and we'll just sit there for hours to play the campaign. I don't remember if you ever played online, uh, but it was cool, man, because I had my system at home, and I would go to these my grandparents' house, my uncle's house, my friend's house, and just like kind of not envy them in a bad way, but kind of just like, damn, bro, like
hmm
you guys are lucky. I wish I had these consoles, like, because I have all these games that I've played over and over again, back at the house, like, damn. But of course, I couldn't get all those consoles all at once. So that's one memory, was being able to experience, especially Halo, because even when I did get the 360, I think I got Halo 3. and I just played the campaign. I never played online.
Right.
Never got a chance to play online. So
I I think for sure. I mean, people still talk about Halo. People still take inspiration from Halo. So glad that you at least got to experience it on the original Xbox, man. Those are some really good memories, man. I wish I kind of came up with, or not came up with, but I wish that I um, put down the ones that I had from back in the day because I have plenty. Who knows? Maybe we'll keep this a continuing thing every now and then on each episode. But yeah, I mean that's kind of really it, guys. Let us know what you thought about this. One, the new setup, and then two, let us know your favorite memories that you guys might have had. This is going to conclude the episode, of course, guys. Thank you again for sticking around through the beginning, the middle, the end, all the good times, the bad times, that kind of stuff. Deathface, where can we find you?
yeah, you can find me on Instagram at deathface underscore. You can follow me on Twitch. I haven't streamed in a while, but just follow me on there. Maybe we'll hop on. I want to hop on some co-op games, maybe. But we just like I got a new job, schedules. But anyways, follow me on there, Lord Leprosy. Um, follow our YouTube, Chilling with Death, and I think that's it for me.
Cool. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Damianchillin. You can find our podcast on Instagram as well, Chillin' with Death. You can find me on, sheesh, what else was there? Oh, you can find us on YouTube as well with our YouTube channel, Chillin' with Death. That's where we'll be able to post these video formats of our podcast episodes. It's pretty much it for me too. I don't think I have anything any other social medias. Oh, Twitch, Damianchillin, but same thing. Haven't streamed there in a while, but we'll probably end up getting back to it sometime soon. Once again, guys, thank you very much. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Later.